Hi, my name is Mike. I've got a lot of work to do on my first generation Chevy Colorado today. Really, the most important thing is the water pump. The inspector noticed it was leaking during my most recent inspection. The truck has 179,000 miles on it. I figure it's overdue, or it's long since due. Really, since I have to go in there to change the water pump, I've also got all of the parts that go around there, like a replacement fan clutch, since that needs to come off in order to change the pump. I'm getting some bearing noise from my tensioner idler pulleys, so I've got replacement pulleys. Ordered these parts all from Rock Auto website. Also, while I'm in there, again, 179,000 miles, got some new hoses. I grabbed this tool. I don't know if this is going to help me or not. I know it's always a pain in the ass to get those pump clutch bolts off. And again, since I was in there, since I'm going to be in there anyway, might as well change the oil. I got some antifreeze. I got some more antifreeze in the closet out back. Some oil. A replacement belt. So, the first thing I did was to set the vehicle up on some ramps and set the parking brake, because safety. And while I'm waiting for it to cool off a little bit, I pulled the skid plate from underneath. That was just for go back and double check the size. This is a real easy one. I replaced my skid plate a couple years ago. The replacement is a lot easier to take on and off. It seems to fit a little bit better than the original one. But those were for 13mm bolts. So I need to let the engine cool off a little bit. I'm probably going to be stopping and starting this video pretty frequently, because anybody who's ever worked on a car and tried to videotape at the same time knows how hard it is to hold a camera at the same time. So my next thing, I want to try to get this shroud off to give myself a little more clearance. If you can see down there, you can see the water pump is behind this pulley. And actually, looks like there's a little bit of leaking coolant there, caught by the skid plate. So, not leaking bad, but again, 179,000 miles. Wanted to go ahead and do some maintenance on it while I had a warm day, and with my luck, it's going to start raining, because it always rains in my videos. But just wanted to go ahead and record this and throw it up on YouTube after I'm done, and hopefully it will help someone else. This video should be applicable to any first generation Chevrolet Colorado, GMC Canyon, or Hummer H3. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it now, and I'm going to try to get this fan shroud removed to give myself some more clearance around there. Okay, so for anybody who follows this video, tries to do this after me, the housing is in two pieces. The fan, it's held in by 6 of these small little retaining clips. There's one hose that needs to be disconnected right here for the air conditioning. There's one other little line which is now fallen down here. Looks like some kind of sensor. I don't know what this is for. Or a breather. I guess it's a breather. It's clipped into the side up here. But this upper part of this fan housing, it's really tight fitting in here, and I don't think I'm going to be able to. I was trying to pull it out that way towards the driver's side. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that loose until I disconnect this upper radiator hose, which is still pretty warm. It's just wedged in there really tight. But I really think I need to get that off in order to give myself clearance to get some tools on the front of the water pump. So pause this again, let it cool off a little bit more, get a bucket. I knew I was going to have to drain that coolant anyway, so just let's go ahead and start getting that coolant out of here. I do wish that GM had included a bleed valve on the bottom of the radiator. For whatever reason, I've noticed that this vehicle does not have one, which is unfortunate. It makes it a lot messier when you try to go and drain out your antifreeze. So let me pause the video again, get a bucket, see what I can do about some of this coolant. Alright, so with the lower radiator hose removed at the radiator and draining into a bucket, I was then able to remove the very short upper radiator hose, and it was still a hellacious pain in the ass to get the upper fan shroud removed, and I can tell it's going to involve a lot of cursing to get it back in there, especially with all those 6 small clips that I'm going to have to reach my big hands down into to snap around to hold that back together. Things like this that really make me miss my old cars. I'll pause this again. So my next step, I think, here is to get the serpentine belt off. In this car, in this model vehicle, it's not too bad. You just use a 1/4-inch drive extension or a square, and you can get it down in there. I've got my breaker bar on here, but you can see how I'm moving this to remove the tension on the serpentine belt. Usually I use a socket, but I figured I would try to use a socket wrench. I figured I'd try to use a breaker bar. Alright, I got the serpentine belt off, and now with the fan shroud removed and the belt gone, you can see a lot more easily to what I'm trying to get at. So now I just need to remove this pulley, the fan clutch, the pulley, then the water pump should be directly behind there. Clearance is still pretty tight. You can see how I kind of just bungee corded some stuff out of the way a little bit. Feels like rain today. It's not going to be good. Not going to be good. But keep plugging along. Not exactly like I can stop now. Alright, here's a quick clip of trying to get the fan clutch out. I was able to get this tool bolted onto the front of the water pump down there, so now I'm going to try to grab it with, I'm going to have to make these a little bigger, try to grab it with these, and I think I might have to take one more bolt out of the water pump down there. This is a real hassle. I love looking on the forums where everybody says, oh, it's easy, there's plenty of room. Obviously they don't have, monster size hands as big as mine that are make it hard to reach into all these little narrow spaces. But I think I can get the fan clutch out with the channel locks or vice grips around that large nut down there in the center, and then hopefully I'll be able to get the remaining bolts out of the water pump with this to hold it in place. Pause the video again. Alright, just another quick clip. I was able to get it loose, get the nut loose. It's counterclockwise to loosen. I was worried it might be some reverse threaded operation here down here. I used the new fan clutch to set the size of my vice grips to just the size of this nut down here, so that I wasn't struggling with that as well, and then I was able to break it loose. So I'm gonna have to use 2 hands again to get this all the way off. So let me pause the video again. Once it's loose, it seems real easy to unthread. Got to turn it a million times, and it's hitting the bottom shield right now because I have it kind of bungee corded up here, and it's the bungee cord is pulling it up on the bottom. I will say I'm really glad for this brush guard because I can stand on that bottom bar, which makes it a little easier to get down in here. It's already started raining. It drizzled a little bit. I had to throw all the parts inside the cab of the truck. But you can see how this fan clutch is coming off here. Hopefully it won't be too much further. There we go. Oh, and it's heavy when you're holding it up with one arm. Alright, so there's the old fan clutch. It was making a lot of noise, so I figured that was due for a replacement anyway. And now this should make it a lot easier to take those two bolts out, put this guy here, and then pull the cover off the bell, and then hopefully the water pump will be easy to get to. Let me pause the video again. Just for reference real quick, these are 13 millimeter bolts on the water pump. It's hard to tell when you're just reaching in there, so I figured I would turn the camera back on real quick and make a note of that. There's one. Can I do this with one hand? Oh, that pulley tool is gonna fall down on the ground and probably knock the bolt along with it if I don't use both hands for this. So let me pause it again. So in what's proven to be another fantastic development, the bell is stuck on. Already whacked it a couple times with a hammer and tried prying on it from the back with a screwdriver. Guess I'll just whack on it some more. Hope I don't warp it in the process. Get a torch if I have to. I just left it soaking in WD-40 for a little while now. Always something. Well, on the bright side, here's the new fan clutch in. If this was the only thing I was doing today, I'd be able to say I'm done and start putting everything back together. Oh, but unfortunately, I still got a lot of work to do. And this rain is not going to hold off. I'm going to move somewhere like Arizona. Alright. Wanted to turn the camera back on again for a second. I used my breaker bar up there to get the pulleys bolts both loosened, the idler and the tensioner. Looks like I'm going to need to hold that with my other hand. Hopefully I can get this loose. I just wanted to record and make a note on here that neither of these are reverse threaded. I couldn't find a website anywhere that just said if they're forward or reverse threaded, standard or clockwise or counterclockwise. It's hard to do this with one hand. But they're both 15 millimeter, and neither one appears to be reverse threaded. Here's this pulley removed. This is the new one about to go in. I did have to tap it very, very gently to hopefully avoid any damage to the threads. The old one, because it doesn't come with a replacement bolt. It's got this plastic sleeve that gives it some tension to hold it inside the bearing. It's getting really cold out here. Oh, great. Fantastic weather. Here's another quick clip of the old and the new belt tensioner about to go back in. You can see it does have this very long 15 millimeter bolt that goes straight through it. Looks like the only significant difference is the placement of the tensioning, or of the where you put your quarter inch or 3/8. God, it's cold out here. I'm starting to sniffle. To adjust it, to put the tension on it. So just pull the bolt out of the old one, stick it in the new one. Hopefully I'll be able to get this drop down in there and get it lined up. Still haven't had any luck getting the bell off for the water pump, but I haven't been working on that. I've just been letting the WD-40 soak in, and hopefully that'll help loosen it up. Only able to get the water pump pulley off. I wrap it in a rag and whack it with a hammer a couple times. It was stuck pretty good on there, but now that that's off, hopefully I can see the water pump down there. Hopefully I won't have any more problems getting my new pulley, my new tensioner and idler pulley on down there. So hopefully this water pump won't cause me too much more trouble getting out. Okay, and the old water pump is out. I didn't record my moment of triumph here because of course it was raining again. You can see the hole where it goes. It's held in by 5 of these what size is that? 5. Oh, of course, 10 millimeter, just like everything. Let's see. So 5 10 millimeter bolts hold the water pump in. There's the hole where it came out, and let's just go back here. And here's the old one. So now I gotta clean up my hole and get the new one in. Here's just a quick shot of the new one installed, and hopefully reassembly of everything was basically just going to be the reverse of removal. Still feel like I'm going to have a pretty hard time with these little clips. And you can see they're pretty rusted. Hopefully none of them will break. Might be able to get something like that at the local auto parts store if I need more. It's not raining right now, so I'm going to stop the video again and try to finish this up before it starts again. Here's just another quick shot of the parts that were removed, the old bearings, the idler or the tensioner pulley, the water pump, and I don't know what the heck I did with the old fan clutch. It keeps raining, so I keep having to stop and put everything away and pull everything back out again. It was a lot easier on my old cars. Of course, on the old cars, stuff would usually break in the process. Hopefully that won't prove to be the case in this project. I hope this video has been helpful. I might turn the camera on 1 or 2 more times, but like I said, I'll try to get this done before the rain starts. Don't forget to make sure everything's tight, clean. There's a, well, there used to be a belt. There it is. A belt wiring diagram, but I'm assuming if you've gotten this far, you already have a pretty good idea of how the belt is routed once you get it back on there. So really it was only about 13 or so bolts, just you know, the difficulty of getting to everything. So I hope this video has been helpful. If I think of anything else as I'm putting everything back together besides a whole lot of cursing as I try to put that fan shroud back together, I will turn the camera back on. Thanks.